Hello and welcome to Take Time. I am your host Patrick Marlett and this is the December Strap Roundup. Haveston is a brand that keeps you on your toes. You never know what they'll come out with next, and in this roundup we have three very different products from the brand. New IVA straps, the M-6 stowage roll, and the Calibre coasters. Let's start by taking a look at the straps. Haveston's IVA straps are new only in colorway, so if you haven't seen my previous roundup regarding the Beta White and Lunar Gray, I'll encourage you to watch that video first. However, I will reiterate a few points from that video as pertain to the recently released Redstone and Navy colorway. Both of these straps are a bit too thick and a tad too short. My 7¼ wrist gets turned into something that looks more like a Muppet's, the fuzzy end of our Velcro strap being what's most prevalently seen. These could definitely afford to be longer to avoid this issue, or simply come in at two different lengths to suit smaller and larger wrist. Also, because of that thickness I mentioned, you'll be hard-pressed to find a watch you can simply slip this strap onto, so tools will be necessary to strap this one on. Despite these issues, the strap once mated with your watch wears very well. The convenience of a Velcro enclosure cannot be understated. It's simply the best. That is, if you are a fan of its appearance on the wrist. Lastly, much like all of Haveston's products, you can expect the best in terms of value. The build quality here is impeccable. From the hardware to the thread work, you won't find much better in this price range. If you are looking for a strap similar to what our NASA men and women use, a piece of hardware to mount your mission timer to your wrist, this is the way to go. Now, if you are a watch collector like me, you've likely acquired various straps and accessories to accompany your pieces. Well, what happens when your nylon strap collection begins to take over your sock drawer? Haveston has the solution with their M-6 strap stowage roll. The roll itself is an excellent storage solution, but many will likely substitute this for a cardboard box due to the ticket price. $45 isn't cheap, but for what you're getting, it's definitely worth it. The ladder buckle enclosure and lengthy canvas strap make for an excellent securing system, regardless the number of straps I've thrown in here. The canvas and design itself perfectly match that US military tool aesthetic that I know Alex of Haveston was going for. Each handmade roll features a large stowage area with covers on either end to protect your product's hardware. Lastly, the roll itself does an excellent job of maintaining your straps precisely where you would place them. I'm rather meticulous when it comes to how I set my belongings aside, and this watch roll helps me maintain that tidy lifestyle. Excellent, great, fantastic. I really can't throw enough exclamatory remarks at this strap roll. It's the product I never knew I needed, and I could honestly use another with the variety of straps I receive. Really excellent work. Speaking of products I didn't know I needed, here's the Calibre H45 coaster by Haveston. I don't know how I've made it this far through my adult life without having a few coasters at the homestead, and I sure feel more mature for having them. I literally have nothing but good things to say about these. Though my experience with coasters is admittedly limited, I'll try to approach my critique here as objectively as possible. They're awesome. Seriously, a manually wound coaster? Of course I like them. Personal feelings aside, who knew that a watch movement's recessed areas would make for the perfect catch to a perspiring glass or bottle? The coasters themselves are three-dimensional, with grooves that highlight the various parts of a mechanical movement. As such, they catch any moisture your beverages might let out, making cleanup a breeze. I'm generally more of a design guy. I care more about how my watches look and in turn make me feel. So having a set of coasters that provide me a lesson on arguably the more important part of my watch is thrilling. If you are looking for the perfect gift for your watch pal, or even wanted to give a little something to yourself, this makes for an excellent present. Round off your knowledge on watches and keep that coffee table clean with the H45 coaster, easily my favorite watch adjacent accessory this year. Vario is all about the bang for buck factor. With excellent wholesale value on products and bundled specials, this is the group you go to for a diverse range of straps to outfit your watches without breaking the bank, and the new elastic nylon strap is here to sharpen that collection right up. The first issue I take with this strap is the length. Unlike a traditional Nato style strap with length for miles, or at least enough to tuck back into the keepers, we have a strap that falls nearly short of sticking out of the secondary keeper when sized for my 7¼ wrist. This needs to be elongated, so long as we intend to refer to this as a Nato. Generally, I like the sizing and placement of the holes for the buckle here, but on the whole, there are entirely too many. You begin to lose sight of the strap when there are 13 holes poking out of it. I like the idea here, but simply having a length for smaller wrist with fewer holes and a separate length for larger wrist, again with fewer holes, would make this idea work better. The material used here, the stretchy elastic nylon as it's labeled, is actually really comfortable on the wrist. And with 8 colorways, you're not short on style. Also regarding the material, the stretchiness makes strap changes easier with watches that have an extremely close spring bar to case back measurement. Anytime I can avoid bringing a tool out, the better, particularly when dawdling with spring bars. For those on a budget, this is a fine option for your hybrid single pass nylon elastic strap. With a few improvements, this could be the best bang for buck out there on this particular strap type, but we're not quite there yet. Crown & Buckle was one of the first brands I turned to when I sought to up my accessory game as I began collecting a few years back. I still own and use a few of those very straps, but hadn't looked through their collection in some time. Until recently. They've just innovated a new type of strap, a hybrid between Perlon and Nato, that they're calling the Chevron strap. I love both those things, so of course I had to check one out. Sizing on the Chevron is tedious. If you don't like having to fiddle with small objects to accomplish a task, I do not recommend you buy one of these. The buckle, though handsome, is very difficult to work with in lengthening and shortening the strap, and as all sizing is accomplished here, get ready to sit down a minute to properly size this to your wrist. Aside from the sizing, the Chevron is a truly high-end package. Speaking of the buckle and keepers, the hardware used here is custom for the strap, well-developed, and top grade. The 316L stainless steel is fashioned perfectly for the style of the strap. I will state the brushed option still comes with polished areas, which at first bothered me, but having worn the strap for a prolonged period of time, I quite enjoy the detailing. Once the strap was sized, I found it wore perfectly between all of my 19mm options. On that note, I love that C&B is producing these in 19mm. I'm a bit peeved that this width option hasn't been made for every colorway, but most of the basics like this stone gray option will come in at 19mm for those looking to outfit their vintage pieces, much like myself. The Chevron by Crown & Buckle is a real treat. If you want a taste of what a luxury strap should look and feel like, look no further. Everything from the unique nylon weave to the fully stitched tongue and well-made hardware are all high quality in both look and feel. I will definitely be keeping my eyes on Crown & Buckle from here on out. Again, my name is Patrick Marlett, and thank you for the time.